Hi, everybody. It's really nice to be here with all of you today. And just before I start, I really want to just thank Stephanie and Holly. I don't know if she's on or not, but I linked up with her as well. And also a thanks to Jill for moderating today. So it's just been a real pleasure to work with you. And we're going to get started shortly. I only have one little piece of housekeeping to just to let you know about before I start. There will be a few times throughout my presentation that I am going to ask for your input. And just in order to be respectful of the time that we have, each time I'll quantify it. Like, I'll say like, can I have three or four people or seven or eight or whatever? Not because I don't want to hear from everybody, but just I need to make sure we can get through this within the time that we have. So that's my way of keeping me on track. So before I share my screen to get started on my slides, just to get us started, just get a little bit of input from all of you. So we're talking today about grief and the holidays, but I'm just wondering if you can, anyone off the top of your head, throw out some different dates, holidays, whatever they may be, that you would consider to be difficult for somebody who is grieving, either in the chat or hands up, and maybe seven or eight comments.
Birthdays and Christmas, Leanne, Mother's Day, Father's Day, anniversaries, death date,
Yep. Any other ones out there?
first holiday season, followed by birthday and the first New Year, New Year's births.
Right. Well, that's pretty good. Not a bad list to get us started off. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen, so bear with me while I get that going. Now it's run really smoothly up till now. So if it's gonna have a glitch, this is when it's gonna happen. And there we go. I'm just gonna move this up here. Okay. And I'm assuming everyone can see that. Okay, so I'm just going to move to my first slide. And as you can see, I've captured the dates that you've given me, and there's a few extras in here. And I'm not going to read through them all, but I do have them, I have them in three columns, and I have them that way for a very specific reason. So just to sort of give you some background on this, the first column, wedding anniversaries, birthdays, either your birthday, their birthday, the anniversary of death, uh, special occasions, weddings, graduations, any of those things. Those are in the first column because those are dates that are 100%, they're very difficult for those who are grieving, but they're also dates that are very individual and specific to each person. And they're dates that not everybody knows about. So for example, like the death date of my son, that's a date that close family and friends know about, but not everybody else. So those dates there's some privacy that's afforded to us on those days. If I have to go to the store on one of those days, there's not music playing to remind me. There's not, none of that is happening in the background to add to that. So that's my first column. And then the other set of days, Mother's Day, Father's Day, etc., those are days that are, they affect everybody to a degree here and there. And an example, like Valentine's Day for me, not not a lot of effect for me, but if I had lost my spouse, I would think Valentine's Day might be a date that would be difficult. So they're days that affect us all, but they tend to be shorter term. It's a couple days and maybe a few days surrounding it, and there's not as much of the hype. So Christmas, which is what we're going to be, the Christmas season, so what we're going to be talking about today, that is in a column all of its own. So, and why is that? The way I put it is Christmas is in your face. So, first of all, I think I noticed decorations going up in October before Halloween even, right? So this is a season that I'm going to say about 2.5 months. That's how long it lasts. And it's a season where media is constant. TV, radio, your social media platforms, magazines for old school ladies like me. Christmas is everywhere. There's music, there's decorations, there are parties. When you go on your social media, there's gift ideas. I think we just went through Black Friday, so it's everywhere. And then there are social plans happening. You have friends at work, they're talking about their plans. There may be expectations for you to attend. You might want to attend, you might not want to. That's part of it. The local events. Kenora, just a few weeks ago, we put up our big Christmas tree in the middle of town. So, other towns have those types of local events. Craft shows are happening, church teas, though all those things are happening all around town. Visually, the stimulation, neighborhood decorations and lights, decorations downtown in the stores and just the expectations that there may be with your friends, your family, your coworkers, all of those things all play together to make Christmas just a little different than any other holiday that somebody grieving has to cope with. So this just brings me to our the goals for today. And they're really simple. I have three goals that I'm hoping we'll get through today. The first one is just to give you a really good understanding of what the complications are about Christmas, and we've already sort of talked about some of that. And then also to look at the strategies of navigating the season. And the last goal is to look at ways that we can support people who are grieving throughout the season. So pretty simple goals. Okay, so Christmas is a time where, and I'm probably going to come to this several times throughout this presentation, but it's because I hear this all the time and I see it all the time when like all over social media, you'll see, how to navigate Christmas. And one of the things that is said in almost every one of those is it's okay to say no. And that is very true, but people don't always feel like they can say no, and we're going to talk about that a fair bit today. And what's on this slide are some of the things that are going to come into play for any given person who is grieving, and everyone's circumstances are different, and they will all have come into play with your ability to say no or yes, or somewhere in between to any of the things that happen at Christmas. So first of all, just your family situation. Are you single? Do you have a partner? Are you married? Do you have children? How many? How old are they? Do you have any extended family living with you? Who makes up your extended family? How large of an extended family do you have? Where are they? What's your usual practice at Christmas time with your extended family? What are the dynamics in your family? Is your family supportive as you're going through your grief? Are there issues in your family that can be complicating? Are there members who don't get along? Um, are there different expectations of you as you're grieving? Does Auntie Sally think that you should be over it already? Well, maybe Uncle Fred is, understands and is more sympathetic. All families are different and the makeup is different. Your financial means, it's going to affect your ability to do certain things. You might wish that you could just go away for Christmas and get away from it all, but you can't afford to do so. You may have had to pay for funeral expenses very recently if your grief is recent, and that affects your financial status now at Christmas and in what you're going to be able to do. And your work, while you're at work, is there music playing in the background? Are there office parties happening? Are people talking about their holidays? Do you have time off over the holidays? And your location, is your family together? Are you spread apart? Do you have older children? Are they here with you? Do they live away? Is there travel that's going to happen or travel that's expected? All of these things play into how we are able to cope with Christmas and the decisions that we're going to end up making that will help us cope. So I just wanted to sort of point some of those out. And this next slide is, I put this in just to sort of show that wherever you are on this continuum of, I'm a full tilt celebrator. I'll say it right out there. That's me. I'm at the end of that continuum. I decorate, I listen to the music, I do it because it makes me feel better. But it's not what everybody wants to do or chooses to do. So you could be anywhere in that continuum of what you're doing, and anywhere in that continuum is perfectly normal and perfectly okay. But what we always want to be aware of is what is happening around us, wherever we are in that continuum. That may be a little more out of our control because Christmas is happening around us. If you go away, and I don't know if I'd be able to see, like, if anyone, just thumbs up, anyone who's ever gone away at Christmas before. Like, puts thumbs up. And if you have gone away, what was happening where you went? You may be sitting on a beach in Mexico, not celebrating, but guess what? Other people at that resort or in that town are celebrating. So it's happening around you, no matter what you choose to do. And it's just something that you want to be aware of so that you're planning accordingly, right? I mean, the only way that you could avoid everything to do with Christmas would be to, I don't know, get in your car, drive into the middle of nowhere and stay at a cabin that had absolutely, like, literally no social media, no anything, and be there. That would be the only way that you could avoid what's happening all around you. So the other thing I just want to bring up today is, for anybody who is newly grieving, how grief affects your brain. Um, and there are three sections of your brain that are very affected by grief, and there's been a lot of research done on this. There's been a lot of work done. Two doctors, Dr. Dorothy Follinger from Harvard Medical School, and also Dr. Mary Frances O'Connor. She's from University of Arizona, and they've done quite a lot of research on this. This particular slide comes from a Blossom Counseling. You can find this information on a variety of sites online. Sorry. But basically, so your prefrontal cortex, which is where you make your decisions, solve problems, that's very underactive when you're initially grieving. So that makes decision making difficult, and your ability to process information, to complete tasks, it makes it more difficult for you. And then your amygdala, where you process your emotions, is overactive. So all of the emotions that come along with grief, the anxiety and the sorrow and it can be irritability, the sadness, those are amplified. And then your hippocampus, this is where you form your new memories and recall old memories, that's underactive. So again, it's that disorientation and confusion. And this is very real. And just, I can tell you that, in the months after my son died, I found myself in parking lots more than once, trying to like, why will the door to my car not open? And until I looked in the car and could see that it wasn't my car, right? Because your brain's just doing so many other things to deal and cope with your grief. So it's just more difficult to make decisions and to remember things. And the reason the slide is here is because it's really important for those of us who want to support people who are grieving, for us to understand that at the same time that all of the stimulus of this holiday season is happening, this brain function issues is also happening. So it's kind of like double whammy, for somebody who's newly grieving at during this Christmas season. So we just really want to be aware of it, that that's what's happening. I also wanted to share with you some really authentic reflections from people who have gone through loss. These are people that I know. They're all people from the Northwestern Ontario, Manitoba area. Now I'm just going to read each one to you. Um, I really wanted you to be able to just get an idea of the different feelings there are around this season. The first one is a quote from my book, Tattered Hearts and Hopeful Souls. So this one is from me. Now the family garment has a large hole that can't be patched. Christmas continues to be a special and magical holiday for me because it is a celebration of Jesus' birth. But there is a deep underlying sorrow that I carry into the holiday. Even though I love Christmas, it is still a very hard season to go through. This next one is from Charlotte in Kenora. It was my first Christmas without my brother. It carried a kind of quiet ache I can't put into words. I felt helpless watching my mother grieve the loss of her oldest son, wishing I could take even a little of her pain away. My heart felt hollow thinking of my nephews spending the holidays without their dad. Christmas is meant to be a time of warmth and togetherness, but it also becomes a moment to feel the weight of who's missing. The first year reminded me how deeply we love, how deeply we remember, how the memories of those we've lost stay with us, shaping the season with both sorrow and love. This is from Shannon in Winnipeg. After my dad passed away, Christmas felt wrong. There was nobody to maintain some of the special traditions. Who would make the cinnamon buns? There was guilt over not wanting to visit my mom in the nursing home on Christmas Day. What kind of daughter feels that way? It took time to accept a new normal and embrace the newness as different but okay. From Marnie and Sault Ste. Marie, grief has a way of settling into the quiet spaces of our lives, especially during the moments that once brought the most joy. When my dad passed away, that first Christmas felt impossibly heavy. The traditions we shared since childhood suddenly carried a sharp ache. We'd always gone shopping for my mum together, carefully set up the nativity, and put the tree up right after his November birthday. Those small rituals, once filled with laughter and warmth, became reminders of all that had changed. Yet as the holidays approach each year, I'm drawn back to the heart of what he loved most, celebrating the birth of Jesus, cherishing family, and holding close the meaning of the season. In remembering him, grief and gratitude intertwine, allowing his presence to linger gently in the traditions he helped shape. My last one is from Tammy and Kenora. In the first year, Christmas felt like a giant boulder rolling downhill right toward me and gaining momentum with every day it got closer. I fought every tradition. For example, the tree which held all the homemade ornaments that my kids ever made, and the stockings I stitched by hand and personalized for each of my boys. I added to Sam's stocking, felt the empty chair, and attended the family gatherings with heavy heart. I was in shock and should not have allowed myself to be guilted into going through the motions to make everyone else feel better. I still resent Christmas, but I've changed some traditions and include Sam in my heart while authentically showing gratitude for my family in person. So you can just see from these just the range of feelings and emotions that there are surrounding this holiday season, and this from real people in our area. Just some of the different feelings that we have during the holidays. The loneliness, uh, it's that feeling, everyone else is celebrating. parties, all these things are going on around you, and your heart is broken. And sometimes you feel like nobody else understands how you feel, and you're not sure who to even talk to about it. And you sometimes can hold your loss in. And especially when you're in social situations, if you are feeling like you're holding in your loss and you're not able to talk about it, that really does develop a sense of loneliness during that time. And of course, there's your memories can be memories that are very full of joy, the things that you remember about somebody you've lost that you love. But there's also sorrow to those memories, the missing chair, the missing stocking, the the missing person at the games table, all of those things. Definitely anxiety and I didn't put it on here, but guilt. The anxiety, just the expectations and how you're going to cope with them. The dread, and from that last slide, that the Tammy from Kenora talked about the dread leading up to Christmas Day that can take place. The guilt, the previous one, Shannon from Winnipeg talked about feeling guilty about not wanting to go visit her mother, even though I can tell you that she did go and visit her mother, but felt guilty that she didn't want to, right? And there's one of those moments where I don't want to do this, but I'm doing it. Why? Because that's my mom, and it would be hurtful to her if I didn't. So I'm doing something that I just don't feel in my heart that I have it in me to do right now. I'm doing it anyway. You're definitely those feelings of heartbreak as you hold your loss at a time when that is supposed to be joyful. And you can also feel joy, like, and it's okay to feel joy during the Christmas season. And you don't have to feel guilty about feeling that joy. So I'm going to stop for a moment just to see if anybody would like to share any other um, feelings that you think come into play during the season besides the ones that I've already mentioned. And I can't see the chat, so Jill, I'm going to just count on you to read them out instead. I was
Yeah.
going to go out and in, but I'll stay in.
Okay. Leanne, we have a comment from someone that said that they could relate, especially to Tammy's comments. They can't bear to open the totes of ornaments as they were given to our boys. And I also made their stockings. I can't bring Nicholas. I can't hang Nicholas, and I can't hang the others without his.
Yeah,
I think I will be able to put white lights on our tree, some light in the darkness.
totally. And we are going to be talking about that a little later, that, that whatever it is that you end up choosing to do, that you're able to do for any particular holiday season, like there's no wrong way, we just have to find the ways that are going to work for us. Okay, I will move on. And I think at this point, goal number one, I'm hoping that I've given you a really good overview of why this holiday season is so complicated when we're dealing with grief at the same time.
And just to, I'm sorry to interrupt, Leanne, but one of the, I think it's a feeling that maybe didn't come up in your slide was anger.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and more anger than I expected.
Yeah. And I think, and especially I think regardless of Christmas, grieving, anger often is a very big part of grieving and something that many, many people go through. I will be honest, for whatever reason, um, I didn't feel a lot of anger in my own grief, and I feel like really lucky because I don't know how I don't even know how I would have dealt with it. But I've talked to so many people where anger is such a part of it, and I think Christmas just exacerbates that, right? Because it's a time where you're supposed to be with the person you love. You're supposed to be enjoying the season. You're supposed all the things you're supposed to be able to do, but have been taken from you. So anger is totally, totally normal, natural way to feel. Okay. So now we're moving into our second goal. We're going to start looking at just strategies for getting through the holiday season. So the first bit I'm going to talk to you about is planning ahead for the season itself. So you want to think about your own personal environment and things that you want to think about for yourself. For example, will you decorate? Do you want to decorate? You don't have to decorate, but maybe you do want to decorate, but you're too tired. And that's an area, and we're going to talk later about how we support other people that are grieving, but that could be an area where someone might support you. I really want to put my Christmas lights up this year, but I don't have the energy. Maybe a friend or family member might come over and do that for me, right? There's a way to support. But you're really thinking about what do you want to put around you in your home environment and maybe your work environment too, that helps you feel just a little more comfort, you know, and a little less anxious. What do you want in place for yourself? It might be music. It might be decorations. It might be not decorating. It might be making sure you have quiet spaces that you can go to or that you can sit in. But this is an area that where you want to feel safe. You want to feel more comfort. As the season goes on, you also want to be thinking about your meals. Are there special meals that you want to plan? That might be something that you're going to do in honor of somebody that you loved. Or you might not feel like you want to do meals at all. You might want to have meals in the freezer so that you just take them out and heat them up as needed. Do takeout. I don't have the energy to cook right now. Okay, do takeout. Um, have breakfast for dinner. Like there's whatever plan works for you. Just you want to be thinking about how will I do this throughout the season, as we go along. And it's really helpful. And I know I found this really helpful, especially in my first year after I lost my son, putting distractions in place. Now, and I will say there is a balance. There's a need for us to find a balance between feeling what we need to feel, but also giving our brains a break. So distractions are helpful. And I know I find puzzles to be super helpful because, and any activity where you have to concentrate, your brain's totally engaged in that activity, so you're not able to think about your loved one. That gives your mind just a short-term break, maybe for 10 minutes, maybe for an hour, for however long that activity lasts. And that's important because our brains get tired and we do need a break. You want to think about your shopping throughout the season and your own expectations and others' expectations of you, right? And so some you might need to change what you're going to do this season. And it's okay to do that. You might just do all your shopping online. You can even get your groceries delivered. So, if going out to the store and hearing all the music playing and seeing all the decorations, if that's just messing up with your mind, then shop online or simplify what you're going to be doing. And again, this is, I know if you have children and you want to make sure that you're getting something for them. So there is, these are those times where, especially with children, it can be that I don't really feel like doing this, but I am doing it because it will matter to them. So think about how you're going to do that. And think about how you're going to have both time alone and time with others. We really do need time to ourselves when we're going through this Christmas season. You need time just to think about the person that you've lost, to think about who they are, to think about your memories. Go for a walk, go for a drive, find a place in your house. It can be really hard if you have a young family to find time alone. I mean, I'm 62 years old now, so my kids are grown, but I remember when my kids were little and finding time alone, that's a challenge, right? So it's you got to be a bit inventive. You might have to sit in the bathroom for 5 minutes here and there just to give yourself time to just be with your own feelings for a bit. And spending time with others also important, but important to think about who you want to spend time with and how much time, right? So Think about those things. And we don't want to feel isolated, so it is helpful to be with other people. Sometimes taking part in some service to others can be a way that gets us outside of our own heads for a little bit and it builds positive feelings within us, so that can be helpful. We're going to talk about self-care in a little bit, so I'm not going to touch on it too much right now. And your routines. Routines are really helpful. If you have routines that aren't working for you, put them aside. But any routines that give you a sense of stability and security right now in this season, those can be really helpful. And you also need to plan the actual day. So think about, when this day of celebration is coming, what do I really want to stay the same? And sometimes what do I have to stay the same? And that depends, all the way back to that slide again, your family situation. That's really going to influence what you can change and what you can't. But think about what you want to keep, what you don't. You might have traditions that are just too painful right now, so it's okay to change them or put them aside and do something different. Um, like for maybe you did turkey dinner. Now maybe you're going to do Chinese food this Christmas. Maybe you're going to just maybe you're having sandwiches. Maybe you used to cook the turkey and you can't, and you're not this year, and you're going, and someone else is. Think about how you want to do all of those types of things. Think about where you're going to be. Are you going to be at home? Are you going to be going to another part of your family or friends? Are you going away? Think about what that's going to look like. And the day. You don't actually have to celebrate on the 25th. You can do what you want on any given day that you want. You don't have to celebrate at all. But if you want to do a different day, then you do a day that works. And celebrating or not, right? And if you decide I can't do it, what do you want to do instead? Maybe you're going to just sit at home and you're going to do a movie marathon with your family, go for a drive in the country, have a games day. You're going to sit in bed and read. Think about and whatever you're choosing, you want to choose things that are going to help you feel rested, comforted, and a little less alone than you already feel, because we already feel the sorrow and the aloneness at this time of year.
Leanne, we have a couple of comments in the chat.
Okay,
So one is that they plan to have a stack of books to read, puzzles to
good
make,
plan.
and shows on Netflix, no tear jerkers.
Yeah.
And then somebody else mentioned that they're going to make ribs and scallops totally different than our tradition was.
Yep. Those are awesome. Yeah, I like mix it up, right? Like you do what's going to work. And yeah, think of the other one is thinking about who you're going to be with. And again, this is that circumstantial, your situation. Are you going to be with the same people that you have been in the past? Or maybe you want a smaller gathering. Who do you want? I wrote here, in my notes, I have who do you want to be with and who do you have to be with? Um, and you might think, well, do I have? Sometimes you do have, maybe like for uh, my mom, when my dad died, my mom was in the nursing home, and it was really hard to go and see her. But she's our mom, and we loved her. She had dementia, but it mattered. It would matter to her, and of course, we're going to do that. Um, so sometimes it's not about what we want to do. It's sometimes about what we feel led to do, and lots of people are in those different situations. I have a friend who she would rather not go to the family dinner, but the fallout of not going is worse than the going, right? So she goes and figures out ways to cope with that. So, those are the realities. So you want to think about who you're going to be with and how that's going to work for you.
And we have a comment that when you host Christmas and Grandpa is 92, you have to have whoever he wants this Christmas.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Um, this is just on traditions and ways to honor people. So, and again, I've talked about this a bit already that, some traditions you might find really soothing, but sometimes they just cause you too much sorrow and you might need to put them aside or you might need to change them. Everything is about keeping what works for you and discarding the things that do not. And just some examples, like maybe you used to go Christmas caroling with friends, and there's no way you're doing that this year. So maybe what you're going to do is just get in your car and drive around the neighborhood, listen to music, and look at the lights. Maybe you used to go to a Christmas Eve service, and that's not happening. Then skip it or watch it online if the church has them online. So just be thinking about those types of things and what's going to work for you. And it's really helpful at this season to find ways that you can honor your loved one. And there's all kinds of ways you can do that. Donations to charity, activities that they like to do. I know we always get the Kenora Cemetery always does an ice candle um, thing, and on Christmas Eve they have all the ice candles lit. It's very beautiful, and we always do one for my mom and my dad and my son. Um, and just an example of something that I do. The year my son died, one night my husband and I were coming home, it was just a few weeks after he died. And somebody had anonymously left this beautiful ice candle in our driveway with a ribbon around it. It was just beautiful. And I kept that candle burning all winter. And now that is a tradition that's a new tradition for me. Each winter, I make that ice candle and I put it out there. A lot of lithium batteries go into this baby. I'm just telling you right now. I keep that candle burning all winter long. So it's find the ways that are meaningful to you and that would be meaningful to them. And the other thing I put on here is talk about them. Talk about them, talk about them, talk about them. Find people who will be comfortable with you talking about them. And the people that aren't, well, don't worry about them. Find your people and talk about your people. Oh, the self-care slide. Ooh, how we all hate the whole self-care idea. I know I do. As soon as I hear self-care, like my eyes glaze over, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But we're talking about it. So, first of all, cut yourself some slack. Whatever's happening on this season, you know what? It's okay to cry. It's okay not to cry. Do the baking. Don't do the baking. The only thing you can control is your own expectations of yourself. So keep that in mind. And again, I've got on here, okay to say no, okay to say yes. And you've got that little asterisk at the okay to say no, because as always, it's so easy for us when we're handing out advice. Oh, just say no. Sometimes you're in situations where you really feel like you can't do that. So you have to find the ways that will make it a little easier, maybe make it a little simpler. But how are we going to cope with those situations? And that's just a reality. An easy example is, you know what? I don't want to celebrate Christmas at all this year, but I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old at home, and I think they kind of want me to do something because they'll be really hurt if I don't. So I need to figure out something that's going to work for all of us. So that's just an example. There's no wrong feelings during this season. Whatever you're feeling is totally legit. And if you are feeling joy at any point in time, or if you're at a social function and you're actually enjoying yourself, that is okay. You know what? That's all right. You don't have to feel bad about that. Definitely talk to somebody, find someone that you really trust to talk about how you're feeling, family member, friend, a counselor. Doing things you enjoy is important because when we're really struggling, finding a few things that just make us feel better inside. For me, it's going for walks, snowshoeing. Those are things I enjoy. So I do them very regularly because they bring me a lot of peace. And the old rest and nutrition, nobody wants to talk about that. But Garrett, sleep patterns, grieving. Everyone's different. I slept like a log for the first month because I was so exhausted, but I know other people who just said they couldn't sleep at all, right? So everyone's sleep patterns are different. And if you're not sleeping, you've got to find ways, little ways here and there. Like at work, go sit in your car for a bit, chill out for a bit, or find some time at home, just 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, somehow for you to get a bit of rest. And nutrition, if you don't feel like cooking, have some fresh fruit at home. Just grab, so you're at least grabbing something, right? Drinking water, all of those things. I always include music because it, it can be helpful to a lot of different people, and if you don't like music, then bypass that. But if you like music, then just play the music that you love, music the person you lost, music they liked. Play things that make you feel better. And I'll put just inspirational things for myself just around the house or in my car. Just little notes, like could be a Bible verse, could be a poem, it could just be a little sticky note that just says, "You've got this." Anything that just to give yourself a little boost here and there, especially like on the way to work. If you're having to go to work and you're struggling, it's really give yourself you know, some boosts along the way. I'm just keeping track of my time here. These are just some quick activity ideas for things you can do during the season that might help. Again, I already talked about walking, but getting outside, you know what? I truly believe psychological effect of the fresh air, the light, and getting your body moving is a very positive thing for your mental health. And of course, anything that again takes your concentration, gives your mind a break. And that includes projects, and I mean like low stress projects. Like don't renovate your base. I mean, if you want to renovate your basement and that makes you feel better, go ahead and have at her. But just things that take your concentration, give you a break. And journaling also very helpful. And it doesn't have to look like pen on paper. Talk in your phone. Talk to yourself in your car. Talk in your phone, play it back. Say the feelings out loud when you're out for a walk. Whatever helps you get those feelings outside of your body. There's something about putting them outside of our bodies that helps us see them and deal with them. Music on there again, doing what we enjoy, doing things for others gives us a lot of positive feelings. And the last thing I put on here was doing things that remind you of who you are. Because when you are grieving, grief changes part of who we are. And I know I've heard from many mothers who've lost children who say that it completely changed like their whole self. Um, but I also believe that although, and I know I'm not the same person that I was before I lost Michael, but there are parts of me that are still there and that are still the same. And it's really helpful to do things that remind us of what we're good at, of what we like about ourselves, of what we appreciate about who we are, because that matters, right? And especially during this time. Planning for the social event. So again, you might not want to go to social events, and if you don't have to and you don't want to, don't go. But you might want to go, or you might be in a situation where you need to go to something. So you want to have a plan in place for what that's going to look like. And the plan that you have needs to be a plan that whoever's going with you, whether it's family, kids, friends, whoever's going with you, they know the plan. They're part of the plan. So make sure that everybody got the heads up about what's going to happen. Are you going to host? Are you going to go out? Hosting, there's pros and cons. Hosting, I'm home in my own environment. That's a good thing, but I can't leave. And maybe people are staying too long and I want them to leave. And how do I get them to leave? So if you do want to host, think about how might I plan for that? Maybe I just let my guests know, you know what, guys, if I reach a point where I'm kind of done with all this, I might just go to my bedroom. Don't worry about me. Just whatever works for you. Um, Going out gives you the option of leaving when you want. So pros and cons to both. Have somebody, if you can, who's with you that's kind of looking out for you. They're watching for, Auntie Sally's got you in the corner in a really uncomfortable conversation and you need rescuing. They're going to rescue you. They can see that you're getting kind of overwhelmed. They're going to come alongside. They can see you're getting ready, like it's time to leave. All of those things, that person is doing all of that for you. Give yourself a place to go. Bathrooms are perfect for this when you're at someone else's house and you need just a moment. I need 5 minutes to gather myself here. I'm go. I use the bathroom. It's just because then nobody knows, right? She's in the bathroom. They don't know I'm in there crying and pulling myself together and you know all that. So make sure you have that place. Flexibility about when you're going to arrive and when you're going to leave. And you might have decided, okay, we're leaving early, and then you get there and you're actually doing okay and you want to stay longer. That's okay. You need to leave earlier. Also okay. And practice some answers you are going to get this question all the time. How are you doing? So you want to have some answers ready to go. I say things like, as well as I could be expected. Sometimes I say things like, well, my shirt's on the right way, so there's that today. Whatever works for you. I'm just going to stop for a quick second and see if anyone else has any other ideas for that a response to the how are you question.
Sorry, Leanne. I don't know if it was a response to the how are you, but one of them, and just kind of the planning piece, is make sure you park your car where you can leave easily.
Yeah, good one. You don't want to be blocked in and have to go back in and say, I need,
Exactly.
like, yeah, totally.
Asking others to move you don't have to go back in
Move
and
your
asking people to
car.
move their car.
Yeah. Or you're in between two cars and you're doing that
And
to
then
try to get
I
out.
think an earlier comment maybe around, self-care is that they tell people and themselves that we need to honor ourselves versus saying, I need self-care.
Yeah,
And then remembering it's tough for others to know what to say, sometimes just acknowledging gratitude that someone is asking about how you are is helpful to both parties.
definitely. Okay. The last thing I did put on there, you might be wondering why I put dress comfortably. And I know it sounds, totally silly, but honestly, when you're going to a social event and you're dealing with your own grief, and that's hard enough, but if you're itchy, if your pants are tight, it's even harder. Like, be comfortable. Whatever, like like whatever it takes, be comfortable. You'll thank me later for that one. Uh, Okay. This last slide is just about supporting people who are grieving. So things we can be doing over this holiday season to support somebody else that might be grieving. One of them is just checking in. And always in this, as we check in with somebody, that may be spending time with them. It might be on the phone, it might be a text, in person. However it is, number one, it is respecting privacy. If the person who's grieving doesn't want company, we're going to honor that. You're going to honor that. So that might be you're just going to leave a card at the door, a casserole at the door, send a text. I just want you to know, I'm thinking about you. So to be thinking about that. But if you are spending time with someone in person, really, really just listen. Let them talk about their person. Let them share their memories. Listen to how they're doing. And take some time to feel out and ask some simple questions about what they need. Maybe they need someone to help them with some baking or some shopping or some babysitting or an errand, whatever it is. But your presence in whatever form that person needs you to, for it to be, it really matters. And ask. If you're not sure what somebody needs, if you're not sure, ask and give simple choices. I'm at the store right now. Can I bring you some bread or milk? Or I'm picking you up a takeout gift card. Do you like Boston pizza or Timberland? Provide options because a lot of times, especially someone newly grieving, we're not like making decisions is like, well, I don't know, or it's too hard. And give options for those social events. If you're part of a family and somebody, is going through something, think about ways like how could we make this easier for you? How could we simplify this family gathering that will make it more doable for you? Or, or how can we make sure we cut you the slack so that you know that you can do whatever you want to do and we're okay with it? Things like that. Doing things that honor their person, sharing I can tell you it means so much to me when other people share stories about my son, when they do activities that matter to him. Um, it means so much. Honor them, honor the memories of those people. And memorial gifts are a really meaningful way to do that. I told you about the ice candle. I also have, I don't know if you can see it here. I have a necklace that my sister made for me, and it's the jeweler made it directly from my son's handwriting. I've never taken it off. So memorial gifts that are really meaningful for their person, those are great gifts. Helping out with whatever they need, like somebody who's lost a spouse and maybe the snow's built up in their driveway. Go shovel the snow, give them a ride, babysit, run errands, whatever, find things that can be helpful. Invitations, just keep inviting. Somebody might say no again and again and again, but don't stop letting them know that they're wanted because at some point down the road they might be ready to come, except wherever that person is at. And the one other thing and it's not on the slide, but I want to mention, and I mention this because when I talk about reaching out and for people we want to support, something I can tell you that for me has been an issue, and I think it is for a lot of people, is so for 3 years now, and this I'm totally not exaggerating about this, probably 2 or 3 times a week, I get a message, text, something from somebody who cares about me, friend or family, and it's a music video, it's a poem, it's something from somewhere, and for me to respond to all of them, and they're sent to me to help me, 100%, and I'm very grateful. But I cannot respond to all of them. I can't. Oh yeah, I listened to the music video. That was really great, really touched me. Oh, thanks for that. Reading that poem was, I can't do it. What I've learned to do is I just send a heart or a thumbs up. But if you're supporting someone and like the text or whatever it is, the casserole at the door, do not expect a thank you. Do not expect a response because people who are grieving are not, they're not able to, we just don't want to put that pressure on them to even feel like they have to. In fact, if you're leaving something, even say that, I thought you might enjoy this. No response necessary. So that's just sort of my last little bit. And that's just my website and my blog. And I hope I didn't go over time.
You're right on time. Well,
Perfect.
just a couple of added comments. So about maybe things I want to avoid saying is let me know if you need anything.
Yep.
Just do something. Grieving folks are not likely to say, could you go pick up some groceries for me? Someone was wondering if they could see the necklace again.
Oh,
When I have sent
see if
a
I can hold
gift,
it up.
if you can hold it up. When I've sent a gift card, I'd printed the delivery menu and wrote a note, what I usually order. So thank you so much, Leanne.
I'm just going to stop sharing so that if that's in that way we can.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I know May is going to do a draw for your book.